they're filling in the rest of the management team. They brought on, a woman who was out of Swell, the Swell bottles, to run some who had, both traditional retail and digital, more startup based. So they're building out the team, but I think they're still early. With Brooklinen, again, I really only met Rich, in the mix. It's he and his wife. I didn't have an opportunity to really spend a lot of time with any of the other management there, but I would say that they're probably in the same boat. And Parachute, I believe, I know less about Parachute, but I believe they're the same. The young woman who started it, again, they're early. They're still, in the early stages. Within 2 to 4 years, they went from $0 to $50+ million in revenue. So they're kind of the chickens running around without their heads trying to just keep up with the growth. And I think they've just had such explosive growth that, that's tough to absorb, on a small base to go from 0 to 50 million. That's running that kind of operation, building out your team, right? People are jack of all trades. They're wearing 12 different hats. They're doing 1,000 different things in the company. As you start to get to $50 million, $75 million, $100 million, you need to establish a management structure. You need to have people who have the capability from an operational perspective, supply chain capabilities, sourcing capabilities. You need to develop, financial capabilities, all those things that are things that you kind of just dealt with, in that growth. And I think they're all, at that, right? They're trying to build out some of their teams, right? They're looking for the right people at the right, price point, to bring on to their squads to help them kind of grow out their business.
Awesome.
And this is a personal question for you, but if you had the opportunity you said that you have a few personal investments alongside. If you had the opportunity to invest in some of these things, would you think about that seriously, or would you try and stay away from this space just personally?
No, I would because, again, my investment strategy is similar to a private equity group, although I'm really doing more early stage, so I guess more venture, side of it. But again, I'm looking for a return. What I like about a business like this, right? These businesses that at this stage have now, again, it always comes into what valuation they want and how reasonable it is, et cetera. But when you have an established business doing 25, 35, 45, 50+ million dollars, you now have a business that has real value, right? It's the businesses in venture that are 0 to 10 to 20 that, those are the ones that I think, most venture capitalists that I know would tell you that that's a numbers game, right? You need to be in 20+ of those companies in order to statistically get your point, get to where you're going to have at least one good exit, and the rest, a couple will break even and the rest will tank on you. And I know from, again, as I left, I worked with a bunch of accelerators, early stage startups, they're just hard. So for me, getting aligned with either from an investment perspective or both from an investment and being involved to operate some of those types of businesses, that does interest me, right? Like I said, I sit on one board and I advise one company that's kind of that, or, and I just took them through kind of a strategy of visioning. We acquired, we have a couple different segments, but this is in the pet space. To really grow out the business. So we've more than doubled the pet business for us almost overnight, and now have a platform to really grow that into what could be a few $100 million plus business. So I'm not afraid of the space. I still think the space is meaningful, and I think what's meaningful is that, like I said, someone in this space is eventually going to have an exit, and they're going to be acquired, and I think another one will fall quickly after that, and then it will get tougher, in my opinion.
So a couple questions now for you related, and this is what I was trying to get at before.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to jump. Jeff, please continue. But
yeah, that's fine.
From my perspective, this is super helpful. Thank you very much.
Great, you're welcome. Thanks.
So, Rich, what would you view as the right valuation for it's a two-pronged question, for a $50 million business and a $100 million business? So assuming you're buying in at 50 and they grow and hit that, I would describe as a wall, what you're saying, or at least, maybe a platform before the next stage of growth. So a decision point at the very least. What would you view as the right valuation?